So, hey, this is Ed from the Whiskey Tangent Podcast. Welcome to another Whiskey Short. I'm here with Scott.
Hey, everybody.
And Anders.
Hello.
And we are here for one of our famous quick tastes with a twist because of where it came from, who picked it, and what we're going to talk about.
Right. This is the WhistlePig 10-year rye barrel pick from the local lounge Quick Taste.
Whiskey Short.
And Anders, please tell us how you came to get this lovely elixir.
So, the desire to get a barrel pick was something that I really wanted to do this year, 2021. And I also wanted to expand out and kind of push the limits of the cocktail offerings that we had as well.
So did they reach out to you or did you go to them?
They sort of reached out to me. I had expressed interest to a lot of our distribution people about getting a barrel. It was something that I expressed to Derek and Callum, and they at first were a little hesitant because we had just made it through a pandemic. And
Right.
we went from a staff of like 22 to a staff of like 8.
Yeah.
Basically, we were on our last legs, and, you know, barrels are expensive. You had to buy like 120 to 140 bottles of something.
Yeah. At one time.
Yeah, and they were a little reticent.
Sure.
Which I'm surprised about because everyone knows that with you behind it, you have quite a strong network within the lounge family. Mm-hmm. And you could tell me, but I think people probably lined up to buy this from you.
Yeah. I basically broke down the math of how quickly I could make their money back to them, and I was like, I think we should do it.
Right. I mean, Ed and I bought 3.
Yeah.
2 for the lounge and 1 we have here.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to make some options for that. The WhistlePig came about for a couple of different reasons. Our first full-on whiskey tasting was with WhistlePig back in 2019. It was March. Our good friend Nate Woodruff from Whiskey with the View came out.
I missed it.
He had class. Guys.
I never lived it down. I had class. I couldn't make it.
They say school is supposed to better you.
And
at least you have the degree now.
I graduated now, but what does it mean? I was never at the whiskey tasting of WhistlePig.
I missed it too, but I felt that if I went and Ed didn't go, that would
Oh
be
my
just,
God!
Would have been worse.
Oh, what
would have been more animosity.
What a bitch I would have been.
I know. I would never have lived it down.
Yeah,
We'd still be talking about it.
If it makes everybody feel better, I've spent my last 2 years trying to drink every WhistlePig that was at the tasting that I didn't try, and I think I've succeeded.
Yeah. So this is one that we didn't do on our episode Ryesurgence that we featured the piggyback 6-year, and we did the Old World Rye 12-year.
Yeah.
That's a 12-year, right? And we compared them with the Sazerac Rye. So this one, since it was a barrel pick, and since we've never done it before, and you had a hand in picking it, we figured this would be a perfect short to do with you, even though you are still in the midst of your 75-day.
It's day 45. I'm so close.
So one thing interesting about this, when you look at the bottle, it's a single barrel rye, aged 10 years, as we know. This one is cask strength. It's 119.8. In case you guys are keeping score at home, it's warehouse number 1, Rick E, level 3. And it was hand bottled on the WhistlePig farm. It also was aged and bottled in Vermont. But then in the slight corner down here, it says product of Canada.
Right.
We all know that WhistlePig gets its rye from 2 main sources, Canada and MGP.
Right. This is 100% rye that is rebarreled in new American oak and then finished in ex-bourbon barrels. And the source distiller is Alberta Distillers in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Is that where Alberta Premium comes from or whatever they have?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have yet to try that. They will definitely have a spot this year on the podcast. I think it's time to bring them out.
I give it a thumbs up.
Definitely. We can do a Canadian whiskey episode. We'll get one of them.
Yeah,
we'll
see if any of them are worthy of being in the Whiskey Madness this year.
That's right.
We got to start planning that.
Right.
Yeah. So actually picking up WhistlePig was interesting because it was something that I was a little averse to at first. And I have a great rep from Allied Beverage Group, Matt. So he brought me some samples of some tasty rye to win me over spirit-wise.
How many did he bring?
It's 3, I think.
3, okay.
So I got to try them. And also in my mind at Hopsing Laundromat when I worked there back when I was a baby, learning the ways of Kung Fu bartending, we had this fantastic $18 Booker's Manhattan that
bargain.
I know. And that's always been something where I thought that was just so cool, and I wanted to find a way to kind of recreate that magic wherever I go. Where
I think your Booker's Manhattan's like 24. Just well, how many years ago was that too? I mean, Booker's has gone up in price from like 80 to 105, 110 now.
Back in like 2016, 2017.
I'm teasing, but exponentially, it's a $110 bottle now in a lot of places.
So you were thinking not only could you sell it to the locker members, have it so that it's drunk neat or on the rocks, but also make cocktails out of it.
Yes.
So which cocktails have you made from this?
So I've dabbled with a couple of things, but I got to make the dopest old fashioned I can.
Okay,
make.
all right.
So I started working on the drink before I even tasted the whiskey, just as a hypothetical.
Okay.
I started making a 3-month orange extract.
Wow.
I have a gum Arabic Demerara syrup as well, and then playing with blends of bitters.
Okay.
A combination of Angostura, a maple bitters that WhistlePig puts out that uses their Boss Hog.
Oh.
And then also Bitterman's does this tiki bitters, so it gave it some cinnamon and nutmeg and spice, which I was like, I like this, and I'm going to try and find something that pairs pretty well with this, and I think I landed on the right whiskey.
Oh, so you chose the whiskey based on the cocktails that you wanted to make with it?
With it in mind, but I also wanted to pick something that I really enjoy drinking as well.
Yeah.
One thing that I had to learn that I wasn't as strong in is like I shouldn't choose the thing that's easiest to drink. I need to kind of choose for the barrel strength and then assume that it's going to get proofed down in one way or another.
Right.
And that's something because you're choosing for everybody. Right. So I might like something that's like 114 proof, and then there's also something that's like 123, and
114 still got a lot of teeth in it.
Well, I mean, a lot of
crap.
Well,
I like how that's how we're dumbing it down. Like, well, a lot of people want 138. I mean, if you only drink 114, then hey, how about putting on your big boy pants and getting in the game?
Yeah, but there's going to be people like that as well, and we're tasting everything kind of close to barrel proof.
I feel like you're trying to be barrel spirits rep right now. Like they've never seen anything under 115 that they.
God. I mean, I like that kind of like 107 range, which there's a bunch of great stuff. Everything from like
Bakers,
pure
Kentucky XO,
bacon, cool.
Old,
what'd you say?
Pappy Van
Winkle, yeah. Old Ezra, I think.
Ezra, yeah.
Well, they're 114, I think, but still.
Oh, those fuckers.
Bastard. So, but I know what you're saying. You have to keep in mind all these different people who are going to be drinking this spirit so that you're sure that it tastes good at every level.
But what's exciting is WhistlePig 10 was always my favorite WhistlePig to begin with because it was 100 proof. And Scott and I have always been critical of the prices of WhistlePig because sometimes they're like 89 or something or 87 and you're charging $112. I'm confused by that. But
yeah, the 12-year was like that.
So to get a bottle of my favorite WhistlePig anyway, and it's not 100 proof anymore, but 119 proof, and it has a tremendous flavor profile. I mean, I was all in, and I knew we couldn't go wrong with it no matter how many bottles that we bought. And the bottles were pretty much at or just below what you'd buy in a store anyway. So
yeah,
for the 100 proof,
kind of shooting for.
Yeah,
you guys want to take a sip?
Yeah.
So first on the nose.
Ooh. We're tasting out of neat glasses. There isn't really a lot of alcohol on the nose of this, even though it's 119?
119.8.
Yeah.
I'm getting vanilla.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Definitely baking spices. Cinnamon, maybe? Allspice? It's a nice nose.
There's so much going on with the nose. I mean, you have to wait, though. The first sniff, I really didn't get anything, but then the second one, it all came rolling in. All right, let's taste it neat.
Ooh.
Wow.
Like,
wow. What?
Citrus, oranges.
Yeah, oranges.
Yeah.
Almost like orange curacao.
It's super sweet, right at like a split second of just really intense sweetness. And then all that rye spice comes in. It attacks your tongue, and I love it.
Yeah, and then it finishes. The alcohol and the rye spice kind of simmer together on the finish.
Woo-hoo. I mean, we've had this before.
Yeah.
We had it at the lounge. But tasting it here, being the first whiskey that we've actually had today, wow, it's packed such a punch. This is just so good. It's right in my wheelhouse. Right. I feel like this really isn't in Ed's. So I think Ed's opinion of this is really interesting.
It's very intense. The flavor neat is spectacular. Now, I've put mine on some ice.
The citrus is incredible on this.
And I feel like it opens up different flavors on ice.
There's almost a little bit of nut, maybe an almond, with a little bit of water on it. It cuts down a little bit of the rye spice. It brings up the sweetness. I love it neat, but it's quite a nice drink with a little bit of water in it.
It is. And now that I'm having it again on the water, it's really opening up a lot of delicious flavors. The orange is actually tamed down a little bit. But other things are coming out. I taste more of like the nut flavor, a little bit more oakiness I think is coming through for this.
Yeah. I got like that bold citrus flavor when I first sipped it neat, and then I proofed it down and I got like vanilla and sipping it neat, I got like this like cherry Coke element to it that I found really enjoyable.
Yeah,
really candiness.
The mouthfeel of this is so slippery, oily, thick.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
It's funny. I had some Willett Family Estate Rye last night, and the mouthfeel is very similar. That thick, oily, heavy, syrupy type of on the tongue feel.
I would say where this differs is that orange.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Willett Family Estate, it has so much dill on it. It's more vegetal, herbaceous, whereas this is sweeter, citrusy.
Absolutely.
It's such a nice drink. All right, so I have some tasting notes from the Master of Malt.
Sure.
See how we did on the nose.
Master.
Fresh peppermint, which I taste that. Herbal thyme, sweet vanilla, marzipan, creamy butterscotch, raspberry jam.
Wait, the marzipan, there's your almond flavor.
Yeah,
right?
and
right there.
And orange rind. That's on the nose, right?
We hit a lot of them.
We
really
did.
Yep.
A palette of warm baking spices, nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, burst to life.
Just like read that.
Yeah, tempered by sweet muscovado sugar, bright oak, and dark chocolate with lingering notes of vanilla cola. Hey, there's your cola. And caramel shortbread.
Nice. He's named a specific sugar
Yeah.
taste. That's pretentious and cunty.
Yeah, well, that's a master.
So muscovado sugar, again, kind of being similar to sugar in the raw, which is demerara sugar.
Yeah.
Okay, so the finish is medium length with warm rye spice, sweet malt, and sour cherries. That's interesting.
I mean,
I don't get sour.
I definitely get a dark fruit note on the end. I don't know. Sour.
But of course, this is the regular 10-year, not this particular pick.
That's right. That's a big difference.
Yeah, it's in the same ballpark.
Yeah. It's the same mash bill.
Yeah, that cherry, I don't get as much, but
Yeah, not in this.
They use sour cherries and Luxardo cherries.
But if you only have a chance to get the WhistlePig regular 10-year, you're not going to be disappointed. It's their best one, in my opinion.
Right. So I have a cool story about this. Like I said. Yeah. So I was looking online to confirm exactly where in Alberta Distillers was in Canada. I figured Calgary because, they don't have much else. Alberta, sorry.
Shade, Alberta.
Shade, Alberta. So I went to the website and I look in the footer and see if there's an address or something in it. And there was nothing. So I go to the contacts page and there's, again, no physical address, but there's email addresses. So the one email address says hello@albertadistillers.com. That's like for general information. I was like, okay,
and you sent a dip pic.
Then I sent a dip pic and I haven't heard back. Then I see this paragraph. For information on careers, please visit www.beamsuntory.com/careers. And I'm like, wait a minute.
The plot thickens.
Does Beam Suntory own Alberta Distillers? So I went down a rabbit hole and it turns out that they do. And not only do they own them now, they've owned them since 1980.
Which means the WhistlePig comes in a backward way from Beam Suntory.
Absolutely. WhistlePig 10-year and some of their other products are Jim Beam products.
Their incestual relationship of whiskey distillery continues.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. That blows my mind.
I know.
That's a pretty big distillery to just side own that no one kind of knows.
Yes.
Wow. You haven't stunned me like this in a while. I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm shocked by that, too.
I know. And now we definitely have to do a Canadian whiskey episode with one of the Alberta Distillers products.
No doubt.
Yeah.
See if we'll get Adam involved again.
Yeah. Give Adam a call.
Adam.
So, Anders, you have some things going on at the lounge you want to talk about.
Yeah, actually, we've got a lot of new exciting things going on. Firstly, by the time this podcast drops, we're going to be opening on Wednesdays again. So the new hours for fall and winter will be Wednesday through Saturday, 5 to 11 p.m., of course. I don't wake up that early for anybody but me.
5 to 11 a.m. That would be interesting.
So what's more, we also have a couple other things going on. We've done our first cocktail class. This one's going to be with the SJBD.
South Jersey bourbon drinkers.
Yep. For those that aren't in the know, if you are not, join. It's free to join on Facebook, and those guys are so much fun.
And you get discounts to a couple liquor stores in the South Jersey area.
Exactly. As for whiskey tastings.
Yeah, what about the tastings?
So we only have one that's going to be members only. We haven't done one of those in a very, very long time, but it is going to be the 3-year anniversary for the lounge.
In your face, 20th. Non-members.
So the 3-year anniversary tasting is going to be our Buffalo Trace tasting.
Oh! I'm going to have to use a false name to get in, but Where's that Ed guy?
Where's that Ed?
He's always got something to say.
He's always hating on
Where's Mr. Opinion? You think you can write it better than us, you motherfucker?
That includes the Pappy, right?
Yeah. So, so it'll be Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, Blanton's, probably some E.H. Taylor, Stag Jr., think some Weller, Stag Senior, some George C. Stag, and then we're going to cap it with Pappy 50.
What's that, like 7?
Yeah, it's all good stuff, right?
So listen,
we want to buy our tickets now.
We're buying our tickets right now. The rest of you, you can start saving your $3,000 for this tasting. It sounds like it's going to be the most expensive tasting in lounge history, but
not $3,000.
I'm
not
kidding.
2, not 1.
Yeah. Right. We always learn something about the whiskeys, and so I'm super excited for that tasting. And I'm not kidding. We're not letting him go without making sure that we have 2 spots in there. All right.
But for those who are non-members, the one thing I want to announce is that we are changing how we get new members in.
Oh.
For everybody who's signed up, it's really easy. Just say like, I want to be a locker member, and then your name goes on an Excel spreadsheet,
and then you wait for us to die.
You wait for everybody to die,
and then you have to fight everybody in a round robin Thunderdome tournament to the death.
I really wanted to do Mortal Kombat for whiskey, but our lawyer advised against it. So the way that we've been going so far, it would probably be a couple of decades for everybody who wants to have a locker.
It's like season tickets to like the Eagles or something.
Yeah. So everyone who's on the list this far automatically throwing their names in, and anybody who just has an interest, we're throwing their names in as well. But we're basically going to incentivize people who come out and participate. So if you come out to events, if you buy a barrel pick, if you drop a comment on a post we do on Facebook or like rate us on Google, basically things that show that you're an active member rather than somebody who's like, hey, I had some good whiskey there and I was drunk and I thought it was a good idea, and then I sobered up, and then like my wife was like, it's not, but I still kind of want to hang on to it even though I'm never going to come out ever. It's kind of lame.
It's very specific.
So that's actually not anyone. That's probably 10 people that are on the list. So
the people who are most interested in being a member, you want to prioritize them. That makes sense.
So through the magic of modern technology and not writing somebody's name down 100 times, if anybody who is not a locker member finishes the 100 Whiskey Club, we're going to give you 100 tickets.
So it's like a weighted lottery like the NBA.
Yes, it's a weighted lottery. That email would have already gone out to everybody.
Right. And I think I have to explain that. I know you have another wall. You could throw another 20 lockers up, but there's only so much room in the lounge.
Right.
So, yes.
You wouldn't, then nobody will be able to really use it. There's times we can barely get in there as it is now. It's a place that holds about 20 people. You can't have another 45 people in there.
Exactly.
It's not a standing room bar. We didn't get those couches for that reason.
You could put bleachers in. We could just sit in like a theater.
Yeah.
Theater seating. Facing on.
New with the lounge. And you got to get a spotlight right on you, making the drinks. It's very stressful.
It's all of a sudden like Anders is one of those DJs, they have lights on him, like strobe lights while he's making a drink.
I'm sober.
That sounded great. Okay, I think we're good, right?
Thanks so much for coming out, Anders, and helping us with this episode. If you can get to Mount Holly and Anders has a bottle left for you,
probably do.
Right. If you're in the area, swing on by.
Yeah. So once again, if you have barrel picks in stores near you, they're usually something special, or they're certainly worth a chance. We're lucky to have a whiskey lounge that is also starting to bring picks in for us. So we're spoiled. There's no doubt. We have a lot of good whiskey picks around us, a lot of good barrel picks around us. So if you can get involved with that, do it. As a side note, if you can get a WhistlePig 10-year, pretty good whiskey.
Pick it up.
Pick it up.
Yep.
And Alberta Distilleries is owned by Beam Suntory. Who knew? Mind blown. So for the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
I'm Anders.
Cheers, everybody.
Later.